7 pair of running shoes, so we nicknamed them Willie White Shoes.
Willie White Shoes.
Yeah. I have two. Ron Nelson, O'Connor Township, Mayor. First, I would like to emphasize, as you're into your budget proceedings, your federal gas tax. I commend the federal government that they share the federal gas tax to all municipalities in Canada. And when we look at northwestern Ontario, a lot of the criteria that the province has is transit, and a lot of small communities do not have transit, so they're not entitled to the provincial gas tax. But on a federal level, we receive it, and we thank you, and we don't want to see that go because a lot of us don't have transit. We are pushing the province to include us as well. So through your deliberations, I would request that you continue that program for all of our small municipalities. In regards to the Ring of Fire, I understand yesterday that there was a very high level of frustration. And there's always been a high level of frustration due to the fact that a lot of people see this moving at a snail's pace, going backwards instead of forwards. I've over the years, and NOMA over the years, has been privy to some information. I've sat with you numerous times through other meetings. The problem is that we cannot divulge a lot of the things that are happening due to confidentiality and what is transpiring behind closed doors. May I make a suggestion to ease the frustration level so our members, as well as everybody in the economic development end of it, is we hear that the province is moving forward, we hear the feds are moving forward, we understand you are both talking. You know what? Why don't you bring us into the room? We have a lot of information that can be shared. I'm not saying 500 people, but I'm saying if you look at specific areas of the Northern Policy Institute, NODN, NOAC, NOMA, have us in the room so that we can go back to our members and say things are progressing. Let's bring the level of frustration down and bring a positive note to it. But in order to do that, I truly believe you need to engage us.
Yeah, Ron, I take your point. I would qualify it with, let me work back from Ring of Fire and I'll talk about the gas tax funding. We're actually in the room today talking about this, so I don't think your role is minimized, and you've been to a number of meetings where we've had conversations about large-scale infrastructure projects that would support notionally the development of the Ring of Fire. First Nations communities have certainly had an opportunity at the highest level to sit down with my predecessor, Minister Clement, and myself on an ongoing basis. And we have committed resources to deal with some of those, again, for fear of repeating myself, that we consider foundational to them. I would be certainly open to a forum that you may hold here or in some other venue where we had focused discussion groups on Ring of Fire. I think I mentioned earlier in my speech that I am asking us all as community leaders to be realistic about our contributions. Obviously, FedNor reminds me of this quite a bit. I don't want communities feeling like every time they submit an application to FedNor, they have to put Ring of Fire in it or on it somewhere to do it. Not everything is connected to this legacy project per se. There are geographical stakes here that are considerable. In our own instance, we have already faced certain challenges right in Kenora, trying to probably the highest prospect to connect up to a dynamic Western economy, and we are still suffering miserably from our inability to twin the highway between our city and the Manitoba border for the development and economic development potential and the safety of our residents who use it most frequently. So meandering a bit there, Ron, just to make the point that yes, that's something that can be done, but yes, it's something I think, as a matter of good faith, I can say we have been doing. On the gas tax fund, just very briefly, obviously, I'm reminded of this every once in a while when folks in Kenora talk about the price of gas, especially the mayor from time to time comes out in the newspaper and talks about it. And I have to remind us all that the gas tax fund comes back from a portion of those federal taxes that are applied to a liter, per liter of gas. Those revenues have been doubled, indexed, and made into legislation so that communities can use them as instruments, debt instruments, potentially to use against any urgent or unforeseen or whatever priorities the municipality is occupied with. So I think that's a good thing. I spoke about it at some of these acronyms I just get lost in. What was the one in Ottawa that I spoke? AMO, sorry, yeah. That was very well received, and we had awards to support some of the great work the municipalities been doing. Thank you. Long-winded answer.
Dave, you are in charge of setting up that meeting. Keep us all in favor.
Are there any other questions or comments?